hell happened here?
Hey, what's up? This is Jen from HipHop Zombies. Today we're in Church Boy's studio with Ness Rhyme from the heart of Brooklyn.
What's going on? What's going on?
Hello there.
Chilling.
So tell us where you get Ness Rhyme from.
Ness Rhyme. It used to be Ness. It was just Ness, but at that time, that's when Making the Band was out, and we had Elliot Ness out. So you know what? Just for other purposes, I decided to add the rhyme next to it, and it rhymed with Busta Rhymes and Tech Nine. So I was like, fuck it, let's do Ness Rhyme. And it kind of made sense. So yeah, I went with that.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about yourself growing up.
I was born in Bushwick, Brooklyn. I was raised down in Queens for a little bit, out in East Elmhurst. Then my early teen years, I moved back into Brooklyn, to Canarsie, and I was raised in the projects for a little bit. It was regular, man. You know, I had good parents, I had a good lifestyle. You know, I was in the wrong hood, but I grew up with good morals. It was regular for me, man. I ain't never really get into much trouble. I always kept to myself and stuff like that. And I was just doing music all the time, so I wasn't really out with the kids outside chilling and hanging out and stuff like that. So it was really cool. It was dope.
Okay, and what would you consider your defining moment when you realized you wanted to rap?
It was always there. There was never a point in time where I said, this is it, this is what I want to do. It was just like always there. And you know, I come from a descendant of like musicians and stuff like that, like my grandfather, my mother, my aunts and uncles. So it was just like, I guess I was next up to do music in my generation, in my environment. So it was rap. You know, it wasn't no Spanish music as opposed to what they was doing, but it was just there. I started doing Spanish hip hop, and as growing up, I used to listen to a lot of Spanish hip hop, and then I don't know, I just transferred into English hip hop, and it was just always, you know, it was always something I did. But you know, after 18 years old, that's when I started taking it serious for real. Like, yo, this is something that can go really big for me.
Oh, that sounds good. All right, so far, what has been your worst experience?
It's like performing and everybody just shitting on you and booing on you, and it's happened not because the music wasn't good, but that's just how New York is, you know. When they don't know your name, it's like, yo, you gotta come out on stage and do some crazy shit. If not, they're gonna violate you. And you know, it was a learning experience. It didn't make me weak, you know. I didn't go home and cry about it, but it made me be like, you know what, I gotta go harder now, because one day these same people, they're gonna idolize me, and it's been going like that so far. And I think that really helped me a lot into becoming a stronger artist and a person as well.
I'm guilty of being one of those
yeah, I've done it myself too. It's all good.
Audience members.
Yeah.
So what's the most valuable lesson you've learned in the rap game?
Staying true to yourself and making sure that whatever image you came out with is the one that you're gonna hold forever, because in the rap game it's really about judgment, especially with fans and listeners. Like, they will hold you against anything you say or do, so you got to make sure that you're always on point, because you don't want to have to stand against what you said at one point and make yourself look bad, and that's really important in the rap game, honestly, to me.
Yeah, no one likes a hypocrite.
Yeah.
If there was one thing you could change about the rap game, what would it be?
I would make it more about music and less about image again, because that's what it is nowadays. It's really about how good you look, and then if you sound really dope on a beat. But back then it was like, yo, you had to just have raw talent. A lot of times we didn't even know what these rappers looked like, but they were so ill that it didn't matter, you know. But nowadays it's like, if you don't look like that dude, you know, if you're not into the fashion, if you're not in style, like, nobody really wants to even listen to you. You could be like the best rapper alive, but you know, that's the main thing that I would like to change in the hip hop game.
Well, in 10 Rap Commandments, you do mention no labels, right?
Yeah.
Speak more about that.
You know what? My opinion, it didn't change with that said, but it was more like, nowadays with the internet and so many social networks that we have, it's possible for you to make your own stuff, you know, for you to start your own label enterprise. And if I could, I wouldn't sign to no major label, because I want to be a major label. I want to make my own label where I can bring other dudes, younger dudes with talent, and take them under my wing, as opposed to having to sign to some label that is going to give you a lot of restrictions, and the budget is not going to be there, so you won't really have enough creative control to do what you really want to do. And I think that's a major thing too. You want to be able to deliver your message exactly how you want it, and a lot of labels don't let you do that. You know, they give you an image that they want you to portray, and that's whack. So I'd rather start my own label, you know, instead of having to deal with somebody else. You know, why work for somebody else when you can cut the middleman and do it yourself? That's how I see it.
Yeah, you don't want to become a gimmick.
Exactly.
Okay, so now for an up-and-coming hip-hop artist, rap artist, what advice would you give them?
Yo, just stick to your style, and never go back and say, I gotta change it so I can adapt to what's out now, because that's what makes us different. When we do the one thing that nobody else wanted to do, or somebody else might have scrapped because they thought it was cheesy and corny. And you know, be yourself. I mean, you hear that all the time, but it's really a true meaning. And it's like, You can become an icon, a legend, just by being yourself. By the things you do every day that people feel, that you feel yourself is like normal. A lot of people might see it and say, wow, this is really interesting. So just stay to yourself, man, and never change yourself for nobody or any group of people.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Now, you have Biggie all over your music.
Yeah, that's my guy right there.
It's your favorite artist?
Yeah.
Speak more about that.
Oh man, it was like when I first started like listening to hip hop, I didn't even know who Biggie was. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm from Brooklyn, but I was more into Midwest rap and West Coast rap. But when I adapted into my city's music scene, that was like the only thing I cared about. It was like Biggie, and then I started listening to him and really realizing that he held the throne in New York alone, not just Brooklyn. And I was just infatuated with him, man. And I felt like he died at such a short age that it was like, why can't I be the one to keep him alive or help contribute into keeping him alive? And it was beautiful, man. And I want my generation and the next one to know who Biggie was and forever, because he's timeless. His music is timeless. You can still hear it in the club and it's still just as good as it was when it first came out. So, you know, that's my guy. I see that guy as my father in the rap game, you know. I wish he was alive, I'm gonna be honest with you.
I respect it. Now, aside from Biggie, you also mentioned earlier you're very familiar with Spanish hip-hop, and you have a family background in Spanish music. Any of that have an influence on your music as well? Yeah, a
lot of it. Growing up, my cousin used to DJ and throw house parties, and back in the days, he used to play a lot of playero and old school reggae, hip-hop, Spanish reggae, and that was just like everything I knew, and I started to adapt those flows that they used to use back in the days into English hip-hop, and it was just beautiful music to me in a sense, because they took what Jamaicans did and they reverted it to their own style, and I thought that was dope. So I always incorporate that with whatever I do, even if I'm not speaking Spanish in my music, but just know that there's style from that in there.
Is that part of your inspiration?
Yeah, definitely. Hell yeah, definitely.
Any other inspiration? Like, where do you get your courage from?
My mother, she's a really strong lady. She teaches me everything about life, and I even tell her, yo, I want you to write a book with every saying you've ever told me so that I can incorporate that into music, because she's been so influential with just life itself that if I incorporate that into my tracks, I can also influence my listeners unconsciously. And, you know, it just pass on good values. Apart from that, I like to study a lot of art. I've been trying to get up on my reading lately because I haven't really been into that. So I'm really trying to get into other people's life that's been documented and bring them out in my music.
That's good.
Yeah.
Your lyrical ability, where does it come from?
Came from Bone Thugs and Harmony, Tech Nine, Busta Rhymes, Eminem, a whole bunch of rappers. It was just, I was always into that fast flow. And that when I started, I wouldn't even be making sense, but I would put a whole bunch of words and syllables together, and it sounded so good. And as I got older and I started learning more about hip-hop, I started making sense out of it and actually learning how to use words that will make sense together and make sentences. And that's it, you know. Apart from that, I just listen to myself all day and just help myself get better.
That's dope. Now, tell me about Heart of Brooklyn. Tell me the origin. Tell me about the family. Tell me everything.
Those are my guys, man. We encountered with each other. It became like a household name about 3 years ago, maybe almost 4. I wasn't from East New York. That's where the guys reside at. I'm from Canarsie, but I used to sell a lot of sneakers and clothes and stuff like that. So I met up with Edo from Heart of Brooklyn, and he told me he rapped, and I was already rapping, and he knew that. So he was like, yo, I want you to meet my friends and this and that. So, you know, we all started just chilling like homeboys or whatever, going to parties, throwing hookies and stuff like that. And one day we was like, yo, let's take this serious. And then, you know, more members started adding up, and it just became like a whole lifestyle. It wasn't even just rap, it was just a lifestyle. Like everywhere we went, we was together. It was like a family, you know, and that's just how the group came about. But, you know, they started it before me, and then when I got in there, that's when we started taking things more serious.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Now, for your album God's Plan, the cover, that's deep.
It's so deep. Yeah.
What message are you trying to convey?
It's like a rebirth of myself. It can mean a lot of things. Like the way me and my guy shot it, it was like, let's shoot it so that people can make their own sense out of it. Because for me, it was more like a rebirth of myself. Like, I know wrong from right, and this is me now after realizing so many things in my life and trying to become a new person as an artist and as myself, Nelson. And that's what it means to me. You know, it was like Jesus, he rose from the grave, and then he used to be one person that was slandered and beaten upon, and now he's the almighty Jesus, you know. So that's how I see myself. Like, people used to clown me, people used to say this and that, but look, now you respect me because you like my music, and that's what I really wanted to convey with that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Now, who is your music and video producer?
Brian Collado, that's my videographer guy. I have tons of producers. Actually, the guy who runs the studio cannot produce from 85th, Church Boys. And a lot of my friends, man, a lot of people send me music all the time, and whatever's hot, I use it, you know? I'm always open to new talent because, again, I want to help people who help me. So if I got a video guy, let's shoot a video so that you can out there as well. As opposed to going for a big name, you know, where they're already established. I'd rather, you know, come from the ground up with everybody else who's trying to do the same thing, even if it's a different area of art. So I mess with whoever, man. Whoever's ill, you know, I contract them, we meet up or whatever, and we just get stuff done.
With that being said, what's the biggest obstacle with those options?
Not having a budget and not having a name, because a lot of people don't want to work for you if you aren't hot, you know? I mean, you might be hot, but statistically you might not be out there, and a lot of people, they don't want to, you know, they don't want to have to deal with you. And it's hard because it's like, you know the vision, and you know it's $1 million vision, but they don't see it like that. You know, if you don't got the right money, if you don't have the right name, they don't want to mess with you.
So if this was all done tomorrow, what is the strongest impact you would want your music to have on us?
All done as in the world, or just like
no more music,
done,
no more,
okay,
possibly no more you.
I want people to know that I try to help people understand life itself. I want people to realize that you can really go out there and do whatever it is that you want to do. I want people to know that you can make a bad situation into a good one, and even when you feel like all hell broke loose and you don't have nothing, like, all it takes is a thought, you know? All it takes is a dream for you to make reality. It's just about taking the initiative and pushing. And I want people to know that if everything was done now, that I did everything I wanted to do right now. So if I was to die today, I'd probably be happy. You understand what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, every line I drop is gonna be 100%, because I don't know. You know, I know today, I don't know tomorrow, I don't know later. So it's like, you gotta live for now, and you gotta live for yesterday, and make sure that yesterday made sense. And that's what I think that I would want everybody to know if this was all done and said.
You're really optimistic.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And in terms of Ness Rhyme and Heart of Brooklyn, let HipHop Zombies know what's next.
I'm working on a whole bunch of videos for the God's Plan project. I wanted to do like every song, but you know what? Realistically, I'm trying to do at least 4 or 5 videos and hopefully enhance the story, because a lot of times visuals really open people's eyes to things they didn't catch in the music. And I really want to actually make like a movie out of it. And as far as Heart of Brooklyn, we want to work on our next album, hopefully by December. And we got a whole bunch of shows coming up, man. We're really just trying to get out there and make sure the world knows who Heart of Brooklyn, who Ness Rhyme is. Yeah.
Well, Ness Rhyme, it was a pleasure doing an interview with you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Any final shout-outs?
Shout out to all my people. Shout out to the supporters, man. Without you guys, I would have nothing to do right now. So I really appreciate each and everybody else who takes the time out to actually hit me up and appreciate the music, the artwork, and who comes out to our shows. And, you know, everybody who works behind the project, because it's not just me, you know, it's a truckload of people. It's my video guy, Brian Collado, my photo guy, Alberto Vargas, 85th. Those are the guys who own the studio. Those are my guys, my whole team, my family, everybody. You know, whoever I miss, just know that I'm thinking about you each and every time I make something happen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody, check out HipHop Zombies on Instagram and Twitter. Stay alive.
Yo, Ness ain't the one to be playing no games. I ain't worried about your man or the clique he claim. I make him dash like Dame, he lame. I heard he had the cocaine seats in the champagne range. Word, that's what's up, just my luck. If we fucking, then we fucking. You could borrow his truck and we could cruise the city, bump 112 and Biggie. You hit $150 while I play with your titties. Mommy, you play driver, I play passenger. Would've taught you how to drive stick if I still had the Acura. We could hit the crib and lay in silks, that's lavender. If sex and art, you the artist, I'm the manager. Baby, you know me, we could kick it like Shinobi. I'll even buy you a rollie, but no holy matrimony, cause I can't be your only. Though I'm still the one that can make you go numb by the flick of my tongue. I made you my spring love, now you sprung. Your man went and got his gun, but he don't know I like my beef well done. I kill him softly, I don't need no Glock. I thought I told you that we won't stop. I play blind, I don't see no cops. I keep it moving, your whole team losing. Your hit records barely bruising. I give a fuck of what you niggas doing. I'm doing me, that's Ness to the R-H-Y-M-E. Effortlessly, evidently, I kill him gently. God sent me to make these faggot boys repent the sins they commit when they spend their ends. They couldn't get me, so the faggots had to send their friends to Hellraiser. Even the devil say I'm so fire. My shit is John Blaze and I could be your Ghost Rider. What? That's Rhyme.